Hey guys, it's Danny. Today it is time for another repot and chill session. I have two bulbophyllums that I really need to pot at this point because they're kind of drying out on these mounts. And I already have my preferred type of quote-unquote pots. Here I have my food containers in which I always grow bulbophyllums. And today we're gonna talk a little bit about a thing that kind of frustrates me, and surprisingly enough, I see it frustrates a lot of you guys. And this is shops not delivering to your location, even though they kind of say they do. So we're gonna talk about why this is. I have to say I did talk about this in the past. It just never made it to the video because the video was about something else. So I'm gonna tell you why this happens in my opinion and also what we can do about it. So quick note before we start. This is not a tutorial, this is just me talking about stuff. If you're interested in repotting and mounting tutorials, all you have to do is type in the search bar MissOrchidGirl repotting or MissOrchidGirl on mounting or things of the sorts. You're gonna find tons, like literally tons of videos from me on the subject. It goes for any subject you might be interested in. Most probably I do have a video on it, so you can find these tutorials. All you need to do is search for them. However, today we're just gonna chill, as the title suggests. And before we start, again, don't forget to give this video a like if you end up enjoying it. It actually helps it out a lot in the algorithm. Leave me a comment telling me if you have issues as well with transports, and why not subscribe? I post multiple times a week. Alrighty, so let's actually get to work. I need to remove or actually cut this fishing line that the orchid is attached to. Right, so a few days ago I posted a community post. It was a meme. It was meant to be funny and lighthearted, but actually it is very frustrating that most shops on the internet do not deliver to my location, which is Cyprus. Now, Cyprus is in the European Union, but it's also an island, and it's so tiny that people forget that it actually is part of the European Union. So they go ahead and say on their websites, we ship all across the European Union. And then you have the wonderful surprise to find out that they actually don't ship to you. And mind you, this is just my opinion. It's an educated opinion because I did used to work, I don't know if I should call it retail. I used to work in a fish store, and one of my duties was to maintain the online store, take care of the orders, do the packaging, send the orders through the couriers, and so on and so forth. So I do know how it works based on my experience, but my experience was local. This is international. I also studied logistics in university as well, so I don't know if that counts, but I did. I'm not actively working right now in online sales, so do take this with a grain of salt, but I do think I have an idea of how things work based on my experience and what I know from my studies. Right, so quick note, I realized I wasn't very clear with something. So what I'm gonna talk about today does not imply stores that don't wanna ship to your territory live plants. That is a totally different thing. That is international law when it comes to organics. Stores in the USA will not deliver live plants to the EU unless they have phytosanitary certificates, and if they don't provide them, they will not ship it due to international law, not because they don't want to ship to you. So I'm talking about other products, things that are not organics, fertilizers, and things of the sorts, which are not, let's say, illegal to import. Okay? Okay. When stores say that they do not ship to your location, this does not mean that nothing reaches your location. Postal services, be them the National Post or couriers, actually do reach your location. Or maybe I should say 99.9% of your locations. Maybe you live in a very remote place where you actually don't have postal services, but I'm talking about entire countries that apparently cannot get catered by these stores. No, it's not the case. Couriers and post offices do actually reach your territory. What happens is online stores typically have a preferential type of agreement with a shipping company. Because stores don't send a package once every blue moon like we do, they actually send volumes, especially if they're an online store. They strike a deal with these companies and they manage to obtain much lower prices for the consumer, of course, than we normal people or people who are not companies, right? And this agreement goes something like this. we, Company X, will use Company X services of transport for these territories. This, and that. And the rates are as follows, and then you describe the rates. What this means is that you agree to use that particular courier service for your orders for those territories under those conditions. And those territories might actually not include your territory. Why? Well, maybe because your territory is hard to reach. For example, I live on an island. We cannot get anything transported by truck here. Everything has to be by plane, rarely by ship. That takes a lot. Courier services work with faster means of transports, or actually transport, which are airplane and trucks. P.S. What I'm doing here, what I'm trying to do is remove all of these dead roots from this orchid. I don't actually have a lot of dead roots. I'm gonna spray it real fast with hydrogen peroxide, and we can actually pot this one. It wasn't all that hard. So, kinda straightforward. A company will use the services of a certain courier for certain territories under these rates. Now, your territory might not be within those territories, but this does not mean that the company is completely forbidden from sending to a territory which is not in the contract. It's just not gonna be under those rates, or it's just not gonna be with that courier service. So it's not that the company cannot send to you, they don't really want to, because it's not gonna be cheap. Now, I'm not gonna say there is no exclusivity of sorts in the world, but honestly, a courier service cannot tell you as a company where you're allowed to send, generally speaking. If anybody has that type of contract which says we don't ship to this territory, hence you're not allowed by us, the courier service, to sell to that territory, if there's any contract of sorts, my friends, you need a new legal team. That does not exist. So the problem with our territories is that they're just not included in that contract with lower prices. So the shop will be obligated to use a different type of service at a different rate. For example, you remember I ordered the Biorb from Green Aqua. Well, Green Aqua on their website specified that they ship to all EU countries. Well, when I contacted them, they said they don't ship to my country, which is an EU country. So like, what? But I was expecting it because I'm used to it already. And the problem was the high shipping rates. So I had to insist that I understand there will be higher shipping rates. If they are willing to still cater to my location, I would be more than happy to pay the transport price. And in the end, they were okay with it. But you can see how this is frustrating, at least for me. I would much rather be told, yes, we can ship, but the shipping might actually be more expensive. And this is the quote, rather than we just don't ship to your location because it's just not worth it. The little me insisting that I will pay the shipping price doesn't work with all stores. Some stores just say, no matter what, sorry, we just don't ship to your location. End of story. So some stores are easier going than others. If they accept, it's still frustrating. If they don't accept, then what else can I do, right? And this is especially with smaller companies. You want to purchase something from Amazon, Amazon will deliver to you because they're just such a big company that even though delivering to you might actually not be profitable, they might actually have a loss delivering to your territory, they actually have so many orders that they profit from, that profit absolutely 1000% maybe covers the loss with your location. So as you see, couriers do send to your location for the right price or for the right contract, should we say. And that is how the cookie crumbles, I guess. Now, my frustration is that this is a pretty old mindset, in my opinion. Nowadays, it's really a great idea to try and cater for everybody because you don't know who that person is. Maybe they are an emerging company in a particular territory and they are looking for a provider. Who knows? Or maybe they're a person with influence. Okay, this is pretty weird for me to say, but it is the truth. We live in a world of influencers. What to do? I really don't consider myself like that, and I never ever tell companies, hey, you know who I am? I do YouTube. You don't know me? You should know me. You should cater to me. Oh my goodness, that's so cringe. I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about it. I never do that. However, if I were a company, I would definitely have this in the back of my mind and try to cater for the clients equally, because each client can bring me at least one more client, if not a whole 100 of them, if they're an influencer, right? Anyway, so that's my frustration with this "we don't ship to your location." And it has nothing to do with organics. That I completely understand. That is a whole different story. If it is legal to ship to my location that particular product, but you don't ship because it's not included in that contract you have and you just don't feel like giving me a different quote, then for me that's a problem. This is how I see it. Now, if you have a company and I'm totally wrong, do let me know in the comments below, because I'm really curious. As I see it, companies can absolutely cater for whatever territory they feel like, if it's legal, if it's not mentioned in the contract they already have, right? The contract applies only on the territories specified on the contract. So that's why this thing happens with "we're not able to send to your location," because it's a little cumbersome to get a quotation, to find a courier maybe who will deliver in a speedy time, I guess. It takes a bit of time from the company to research a little bit into your problem, and many companies just don't want to waste that time. You can see how I get it personal. But since this is the reality and maybe we cannot really change it, what can we actually do about it? Well, there are actually a few things we can do. First off, we can purchase from somewhere else. And yes, I personally do prefer to purchase directly from the company, especially with smaller companies. I do want to support them directly. I want to help them pay their employees rather than go to Amazon, to be fully honest, because Amazon already has enough orders. But you see, sometimes I really have no choice and I have to go to Amazon and search for that particular product. And many of the times I do actually find it. This is not the case with orchids, but let's say with pots, maybe some fertilizers, it is absolutely the case. And especially with aquariums, it is absolutely the case. I can actually find certain products a lot more available on Amazon. Sometimes I get them from Amazon USA and I pay import tax, but it is the name of the game. At least they ship to my location using courier services if I so desire. So that is one thing we can do. Look to Amazon and maybe even eBay to see if we can find the exact same product or something similar and purchase from them. Not ideal, I know, and many people will not want to do that, but it is an option for some people. Another option we have, and this is something that I kind of discovered recently, I don't know if all countries have this, but it is absolutely worth looking into, is having a third-party intermediary. What does this mean? Well, there are certain companies which not only do they provide courier services, but they also provide an address. Let's put it like that. So for example, say you want to order something from Germany, which is the case that I'm recently dealing with. I want to purchase something from Aquascaping. I cannot find it anywhere else, but they don't ship to Cyprus. So what I can do is actually obtain a Germany address from one of these courier companies. Okay, quickly, this one is done and I can go water and move on to the other one. This is Bulbophyllum gracilimum. Hopefully I'm reading that correctly. You're gonna have the proper name on the screen. So I'll make a tag, water this really fast and move on to the next one. Okay, so what these intermediary companies do is give you their office address in that particular territory in which they have an office. You can order from a store which delivers to that territory, and instead of your personal address, you use their address or the address that they provide. They will know that address is linked to you because you're gonna use your name as well, and also you're gonna have to make an account with these companies so that they know your actual address. And how it works is, for example, I want to order from Aquascaping in Germany. I already, let's say, have an account with this company which provides this service. It has a name, I forget it, I'm gonna put it on the screen, and I'm gonna make an account on Aquascaping. I'm gonna put in my cart the items that I want to purchase. My delivery address, instead of being my address, I'm gonna put the address that the intermediary company, courier company, gives me. So the store will actually deliver the products to that address first. And from there, that courier service will get it to you in a specific time that they give you. Usually it's courier times, it's not postal offices. So I hope I managed to explain this properly. Practically, you're getting a PO box, if you will, in that particular country, or a country in which that store delivers. So instead of the store delivering to you, it's gonna go like whoop to the courier service and whoop to you by that courier service. And in this way, you can purchase stuff from territories that don't want to ship to you. For Cyprus, I think the courier service that does this is Aramex. They might have a different name because it's a different service. I've not used this service just yet, but I will use it because I do want to place an order on Aquascaping, and I'm gonna tell you on my second channel if that worked. Now, I wanted to tell you about this because you might actually have in your country such a service. It's not going to be cheap. Usually it's going to be much more expensive than ordering directly from the store. You will look on the store and say, yeah, for the entire European country, we have 20 euros per delivery, whatever, standard flat rate. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay that 20 euros delivery to that PO box address, and then another sum that the intermediary company will tell you. So you're gonna have pretty much two transports to pay. One probably will be smaller than the other, but definitely it's going to be more than what the store says on their website. It's going to be what the store says plus something else, which is the downside, but for some people it is worth it. For me, it is worth it. It is what it is. At this point, I have learned to become very, very, very incredibly grateful to whatever seller can actually ship to my location, whatever seller puts in the effort to get me a quote. That started to rank very high for me. Reason why I always buy from eBay from the same seller, or I always use the nurseries that you see me use. I don't have any contract with them. I have no contract with any provider other than the sponsorship contract with Repot Me, which is something else. I have no affiliation with these stores, but I usually purchase from them because they just deliver to my location, which apparently it's a pretty tricky location to deliver to, as it would seem. But I'm happy that I found that service. And I think that service exists in Cyprus because people are facing the same issue. It's another avenue to profit for the company, and you know what? I'm okay with it. If you provide me the service that I cannot get otherwise, then I'm happy, you know? I'm happy to pay what to do. But to be fully honest, I was surprised to see that there are many, many of you in the situation that I am. And yeah, I guess I just didn't think that there are so many locations, even within the European Union, and not only, which are not considered mainland, I guess, or is just more tricky to deliver to. I hope this gives you an idea. Just look in your territory for this service, or you know what, if you don't know what to look for exactly, maybe call whatever couriers you have in your territory, DHL, UPS, whatever, Aramex. Try Aramex, because if they have in my country, they might actually have in other countries as well. So try it out there. If you find it, great. See about the prices, see if it's worth it. And who knows, maybe this will work out. Now, mind you, just because you're using this third party doesn't mean that you will bypass international law. No. If I want to order organics from the USA, even if through couriers, they will still be inspected at the border and all of that stuff. So we're not bypassing any laws here. I would definitely not try to order something which is not legal in your country. The intermediary company might actually have some notes about this as well on their website, so research that, of course. Now, about the transport times, obviously, they will not apply. Whatever you see on the website, it will not apply. You will have to take that amount of time that the store has on their website, plus whatever amount of time the third-party shipping company has as well. So if I want to order, let's say, orchids from Germany, which I'm allowed to because I'm in the European Union, but as we know, people in Germany don't really ship to Cyprus. If I want to order from a German nursery through the courier service, I might actually have to face pretty long transport times. So this is something I definitely need to test. First of all, I will not order anything alive just to see the transport times, but I'm pretty sure they will be quite biggish, let's say, and I'll get back to you on that. But I also have to say that I'm so excited. Actually, my boyfriend, no, he's not my boyfriend anymore. My fiance found this service, and I am pretty excited to try it out. and yeah, just be able to have access to these stores. And look what we did here. From one blab to another, we managed to repot 2 bulbophyllums, which were really thirsty and getting dehydrated on those mounds. This one is the bulbophyllum, Retusius. No, I'm just gonna put this on the screen. I need to make a new tag that I can actually read. These are fairly new orchids. I'm not really used to them, and also I have issues reading handwritten tags, so you're just gonna have the proper name on the screen, because whatever I'm gonna say now, it's gonna be totally wrong. But yeah, here we go. We are done. How about that? So yeah, you guys, if you don't know about my second channel and what I'm up to, I'm gonna link you to it down below, or you can search for it. It's Danny MOG. I think I'm gonna stick with that name. I change things a lot, apparently. And I started to reignite my passion for aquariums, which was my first ever passion. I actually even made aquariums for some people at some point. I also worked in a fish store as my first full-time job, let's say, after university. And the person who hired me was like, "Why do you apply here? You're overqualified." I like fish. Alrighty, hired. Fun times. So I do have quite a passion for aquariums and for fish and all of that, and I'm very happy to reignite it and have the possibility to reignite it, because my birds are really in a good mood, aren't they? Yeah, it's not a very easy passion to have, that one either. It's actually more complicated than orchids, quite more expensive if you want to do it at the level that I want. So it was on hold for many years. 15 years, 10, 15 years, something like that. And it's good to be back. It's good to have fish again. And I promise I'm gonna give you a tour of the greenhouse at some point. It's going through major changes, as you will see, but I think it's gonna be worth it. Alrighty, with that said, thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, let me know if you find that type of service, if you're using that type of service. Just, let us know what experience you have with this issue and how you go about it, because it's very frustrating, isn't it? I'm surprised how many people feel like me when I posted that community post. I feel for you, I'm so sorry. I know it's not the most important thing in the world, but especially when you're like super frustrated and super up to here with whatever's around you, you want to order something that brings you joy and you cannot. It's like, okay, what else is bad, right? So yeah, let me know how you go around that, and I just hope you had a good time. I hope you have a great day. Subscribe to my channel for more orchid videos, tutorials, experiments, updates, and other fun orchid subjects. If you wish to support the channel, do consider becoming a member or visit the merch store linked down below in the description. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's always nice to stay in touch there as well. And with that said, I'll see you next time. Bye!